Good evening, everybody. This is John Seville, and this is Executive Summary Time. All right, so the markets have continued to oscillate back and forth. Let's take a zoom in on the S&P 500. We can see we got that head and shoulders we were talking about last week. We went up, down, right shoulder, pull back, and we touched on this kind of 2065 line, and it bounced back, causing a possible second right shoulder. But also, we also have to consider the potential for a broadening downward wedge, which would kind of look a little bit more like this. Okay, so we've got this also in play, but right now it's kind of a very interesting period because we're bouncing off this neckline. We have a bullish close on the candle, and tomorrow will really kind of set the tone as to how this range respects one another. So it's going to be kind of a in-between day as we're right between resistance and support. And of course the best lesson I always teach people, I think, is to always buy support, sell resistance. So when you're right in the middle of the two, the high probability trades are a little harder to find. However, we did find a couple for your watch list for tomorrow. Firstly, Ptx Therapeutics Holding. Now, this company is kind of the fallen angel type. You can see it's had a long base of consolidation. It's got insider buying. If you check insidercow.com, you'll see it's got some buying from the CEO, about 150 grand worth in the last couple of weeks, and it's just kind of rounding that base. So ideally what we want to see is this moving average cross with the 9-day moving average, so the 20 and 9 cross, and then we want to see this kind of break the highs back here. You can see the high of 698. So if we can break that high, the high today was 690, and then we get the moving average cross, we can have a nice run up towards this kind of $8 region. And that's kind of where I'd be looking at. You can see this kind of previous resistance level. So that would kind of be my first target, looking at around 787. So roughly just over 10%, which would be great. And then of course you can see the cluster of resistance that comes in around this gap fill up around the 850 mark. So that could be the potential second target, but we're a little bit away from that at this point. So it's kind of something we'd have to re-look at as we start to get closer to those areas. Okay. The next one is one that you probably are already following from one of our previous executive summaries, but KCAP was one we had detailed somewhere around here on Tuesday, April 14th or April 15th. We talked about this being a bump and run, so something that was going to run up, test the resistance of the previous channel, creating the first sell target, and then as a bump and run does, then pull back, then break out again. So our target was a buy candidate if it broke 613. It did that today, and you can see that that's now got potential to move. I think that we've got a good run here up towards where this moving average comes in at, so up towards 665, so just under a 10% also on this one, with a nice money flow accumulation going on. Let's go to NTP. This is a watch. This is something that's kind of consolidating nicely. The money flow has been a little poor, but something on my watch list anyway that you may want to be aware of, because we've got this 200-day moving average coming down that seems to be controlling it, with a big volume break here when it broke out from 297,000 to 899. So it's consolidated at this point, but if this could break through the 200-day moving average, then there's potential for this to move and could flag another 10%. So this is on my watch list around that, looking at that 521 area, and if it were to break that, I'd be looking at a stop loss in around 496. So relatively good risk reward for a possible flag play here if the market gains momentum. The last one on the long list is CSLT, and this is a lot more ready to move. You can see this longer term. I have to just take these moving averages off. You can see that we've got a longer term trend channel here, or trend line I should say, that we may be starting to break through. So even if we're a little bit more conservative and look at that trend, you can see we've already broken through several days ago. So this is something I like, CSLT, from where we're currently at its current prices, and I think it's got a good potential to at least get up to this kind of previous resistance line you can see here. So the high of that candle was 939. You can see the high of this candle was 967. So we're basically looking around that 940 area as a possible first point of resistance. And if we go and have a look at applying some of those moving averages on, we are going to experience some trouble in those areas that we're going to have to break through. But from 820 up to that kind of 933 area, I think we've got a good opportunity for a potential momentum play there, again, if the market continues upwards. On the short side, we've got a couple, or a few, I should say. And firstly, before those few, we should mention IPXL, one of our options during earnings plays back from May 1st. We'd highlighted the May 15th $45 puts, which were currently at $1.10, and those $1.10 puts were looking great as we went to the close yesterday. Now today, the puts after earnings dropped significantly in terms of the stock value dropped. So the puts that we picked at $1.10 opened today at $2.50. So beautiful rally there, and potential profit made for anyone playing along with that earnings play. So now on to the new potential shorts. TRGP is is a possible play that we're looking at here. You can see that it's got some support that it rallied off here on Thursday of a low of 99.17. So I'm looking at this as a possible breakdown play if it was to break that level of around 99.13, and looking at a target of around 93.73. So it was just under $6, or about 6-7% potential there, and I'd be looking at or considering a stop loss right around here at 102.53. Okay, so that's waiting for confirmation on that one. The next one was ST. Now we've got big insider selling on this one, some significant insider selling, and so this could be also a play that if we come down and break the $54 price, so say around 53.93, we could be looking at a drop as much as all the way back down to where it came from. So we could be looking at about a 10% type of potential. Just going back a little further, you can see it's come from a lot further, and if we do the Fibonacci retracement on the full extension of that move, you can see we get our 61% right around here at 48. My first target, though, would be looking at the 50% Fibonacci at 50.30, so looking at a target of, say, 50.43. Okay, and the next one is FMI, and this is the last one on the list for tonight. And FMI has also had some significant insider selling, very, very big insider selling, in fact. And this medicine company has obviously collapsed today. We had 601,000 shares, down 9.84%. And this could be kind of one of those two-prong type of plays. There's a long way to go to fill that gap. So that gap takes us all the way down to $29. We're currently at $39, and we can go back a little bit further. You can say we're kind of in uncharted territory. So if we pull this support line back a little bit further, you can see we've kind of broken down all key types of support. So that's kind of what kind of makes it quite interesting. We can throw some of the other lines on here. We can look at there, and we can look at this as well. And then we can look at our Fibonacci retracement, kind of from the low of the move to the high of the move. You can see we kind of get some similar levels. If we match those up a little bit, you'll see that they kind of start to run in tandem. Now the measurements are a little bit off. The Fibonacci extensions are similar. So what I'd be looking at here is, again, if ideally, if this can have a bit of a rally back up, somewhere close to, say, 42, This could be a nice drop down to its 50% Fibonacci, which we see here at $35. So looking at, say, $35.33 as a possible target. And we could also be looking at even further down to the 61.8, which is closer to $30. So looking around that kind of $30.33. So there's reasonably good potential there, but something that the way I would approach this is either if it breaks, looking for a further breakdown below the $39 number, or a rally back up into where we see this resistance at. Now for the rally back up, we want to have a look at an hourly chart. And we'll see a little bit more detail. So obviously we can see the money flow has been coming out of this for a while. But again, we may get some short covering here. We can see that trend line there. We can look at the horizontal support coming in around there. So basically I'd be looking at a kind of a possible entry criteria up around 41.67 if it's able to rally up that far, or even 41.50, anywhere in that range. Okay, so that is your executive summary for tonight. I wish everyone the best, happy trading, and we'll see you in the next one.